Deirdre, hello, my name is Kevin, I am the Dapper Man, and you must forgive me because I actually got my other hat pretty dirty, so I hope you don't mind me wearing this hat. And, you know, sometimes there's nothing wrong with going a little different and doing something a little different. Couldn't think of a better word, sorry. But this is going to be my review for the movie Z. I just recently rented this at a Redbox because I don't have online subscriptions of anything, and this is a Shudder film. So for those of you who have online subscriptions to Shudder and other, you know what this movie is. I haven't. This movie's been out for a year, and I've always wanted to see it because it kind of drew me to that bit of interest, because there's something different about when there is something happening to a child in a horror film. So in this movie, everything is not altogether well with Josh. Josh has this imaginary friend named Z, and his parents start to notice, but they don't really say anything because, you know, it's an imaginary friend with a child. But things start escalating, things are not really all together, and people are starting to notice there's very odd things happening, whether people getting hurt, something happens to him at school, and the kids around him, nobody wants to be near him. His parents take him to a psychiatrist. His psychiatrist knows there's something a little not 100% with him. But, nevertheless, he's a psychiatrist. He's there to help the parents. Until something happens and the parent starts questioning if it's really Josh, or if it's this imaginary friend, or this circumstances of events that's actually happening all together. Now, this film is shot very well in its effectiveness for suspense and true terror. This is not as per se a horror film. There's not really gore. There's not really this sense of slasher type horrors that most people think of, or this monster type, because even though this is a monster horror, it's not really a monster horror. Think of this movie a lot like Insidious or The Babadook. That's what this movie reminded me so much of. I like the music. The ominous music plays very well. Sometimes a little too much for my taste, because there was no sense of joy. There was no sense of any range of emotions, actually. This is a non-stop dread, such as Gore Verbinski's The Ring, which was actually very effective, very well done. But this movie just seems to drag on and on and on. This movie is shot for only 90 minutes, and you would think that a movie so short would not seem so long. This movie does seem to tarry and go on forever. Along with some great things, I would say, for the shot that was very well effective, and the music, which a little bit too much, is the actors and the actresses. They were very well, and the child actor was actually very good, which is pretty shocking when you get a child actor doing a good job, because whenever you get a child actor, they're always going to play like children, and they're not going to be that well in movies. But this movie, he's doing very well. The parents, I very much love Elizabeth's character. Very well. Good actress. Range of emotion, everything. She's the only one with different forms of emotions. The father, who is Kevin, not so much. He seems very childish and not a good father example of anything. It's like, oh, I don't really like you. I didn't like him at all. It's also very odd that there's no sympathy, there's nothing whenever something happens to somebody, or somebody dies or seriously injured. It's like it just phases through their minds like, oh, hey, look, you're dead. Okay, that is not very good, because you want this sense of fear to be happening, and you don't get the sense of fear happening at all. I do believe the director, Brandon Christensen, actually has something here. He really does. But he seems to be too much into fear of venturing off to a range of emotions. This feels like a very lengthy art project that was done at film school, although the shots are not done too lengthy. They're actually edited very well. So there's so much going for this film that it should be much better than what it actually is. And for that, I'm just going to say pass on this film. If you want to watch it just to see the shots and to see some of the things that's happening in the movie. It's actually done well, but it just goes on. This movie should have been done in just like an hour. This should have been just like one of those short feature film short stories that they have. I believe they still have them, sort of like the Tales from the Crypt or Creep Show. Just a short. They could compress this a lot shorter and made a very short story out of this, and it would have been just fine. It dragged on, carried on too much, and there was just unnecessary things that happened in this film. It just did it for the length of a feature film, so that's why. For those of you wondering why this film is actually not rated, it's because this was a Shudder feature film and there was not really ratings on, I guess, on that show or on that television, whatever it is. I would say this is more of a PG-13 with a very low R rating, more of a PG-13. So if you want to know what's in the movie and why would I say that, here's the reason why. And that is all I have for you. So Z, have you seen it? What are your thoughts on it? Or is this a movie that you want to watch? That was my thoughts. This is my opinions, okay? So I know not everyone will agree with my opinions, but I just thought it was okay and nothing I would actually go watch ever again because it was just okay. Glad I didn't blind purchase this movie because when I saw the trailer I was thinking like, I'm going to blind buy this movie. And then there's something in the back of my mind saying, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm glad I followed that instinct of not doing so. That's it. Have a lovely day. I hope to see you to the next movie review. And October is coming, so I know it's a big thing for many of you lovely people to watch horror films and to get all fright and feared and everything else, but you know, I'm going to be watching my Universal Monster films and a couple of others. My brother suggested me a certain movie, not horror, science fiction, and I was thinking, why not? A movie versus a movie, differences, what I like between one and the other, and I'll do that. That will be in the end of October, so you will be seeing that. And that's all I have. Sorry, I don't want to create any dead spots, so that's it. Take care, have a lovely day. Cheers.